Hi, I'm Halcyon Seeley, Communications Officer at the Polyspin Corporation. Let's take a journey as we will highlight the various departments of the Polyspin Corporation. In this week's episode, we will be going over to the HR department, also known as PIRO, which is the Personnel and Industrial Relations Department. In this week's episode, we will be speaking with Ms. Victoria Alum, who is the Personnel and Industrial Relations Officer 3, and she will be telling us a little bit more about her roles and responsibilities of her department. I'm here now with the Personnel and Industrial Relations Officer 3 at the Polyspin Corporation. She will now explain to you what is the role and functions of the HR department.
My name is Victoria Camille Alum. I'm the Personnel and Industrial Relations Officer at the Polyspin Corporation, commonly referred to as the HR department.
So Ms. Alum, what do you think are some of the most important functions in the HR department?
So I'm glad that you asked, but I need to clear up the terminology used. HR is the contemporary term, meaning the new term that are used for managing the employees, while personnel was the old term. And in the government service at the Polyspin Corporation, we still have the personnel department rather than the HR department. And when we are speaking about the role and function of the department, is managing the human aspect. Our most important asset at the corporation is managing our internal customers, who are the employees. And they are the monthly paid and daily rated employees at the corporation. The monthly paid, we have approximately 510 monthly paid employees, average about 20 contract officers, and we have an average of 2,000 daily rated employees.
What are some of the biggest challenges that someone in your position would face?
Again, managing staff. Here we have a number of employees with different personalities, different characters, and with HR, you have to understand the importance of your assets in the organization, and the employee is supposed to be our asset. How do we ensure that our assets are on par with the services that we are, because the government services are service provider, and to have quality persons that delivers quality service, we have to manage the people. And that includes having employee assistance programs, motivating employees to want to work, dealing with mentally challenged individuals whilst they may have come in healthy, whatever is the personal issues or the baggages they may have from home, dealing with these issues, and of course dealing with disciplinary actions. Because some persons may be of the opinion that, it's personnel department, you do something wrong, you could just fire. For example, monthly paid. The personnel department do not and cannot fire any monthly paid persons. We have to follow, for both monthly and daily, we have to follow with the procedural justice. We have to follow with the grievance procedure. So like with the monthly paid, the SCSCs will be the person responsible for disciplining the employee, while we will make recommendations of the alleged misconduct, because the monthly paid do have a code of conduct. For the daily rated employees, the challenges we are having is supervisors not following with the grievance procedures. And when you don't follow with the grievance procedures, issues are carried to the industrial court, and we lose when it reaches the industrial court when we don't follow the procedures. So that is one of the biggest challenges, especially with lack of funding to have quality officers. Why we have a whole cadre of educated technical officers in different aspects who could provide in-house training, but the lack of funding you find in certain areas. For example, customer service. When you get $5,000 for training, how much training can you do? And $5,000 for EAP program, how that might just be for one appointment for an employee who is not well, right? So we have to try to source the free services. For example, in public admin may have some online free services, but it's who they may select.
Right.
Right? And supervisors, while we could have in-house training, the supervisors have to want to do the willingness to do the in-house training.
Right.
All right. So that is one of the biggest challenges.
Can you explain what the SCSC is?
Right. So the Statutory Authorities Service Commission, they are the persons who are responsible for employing, promoting, transferring and disciplining employees for the monthly rated officers.
Okay.
Right? So at the Polyspin Corporation, we have our daily rated establishment and we have our monthly rated establishment.
Okay. What are some of the career paths that an employee can take in order to grow their career at the Polyspin Corporation?
Ms. Lee, I'm glad you asked that question. The career paths could be channeled to a number of avenues, but why I like this question is for the daily rated workers to know that they don't have to stay daily rated. And a number of daily rated, you can reach to CEO once you aspire and qualify yourself. So for example, a number of daily rated workers would have come on to the monthly paid establishment by qualifying themselves with the necessary skills and start off as assistant supervisor, right, and reach to work supervisor 1, 2, 3. We have had one that even reaches superintendent of transport and cleansing. And I myself started off as a clerk, and I remember doing pay, and clerk is range 14, and I was looking like, oh, the highest range is 60 something. How do I reach to that range? And therefore I channel my studies to reach to this position. So right now, not that I am patting myself on the back, I became senior to a lot of senior officers, right, because I studied. I did my certificate of public admin at the university, straight up to my master's in public sector management. Right. And I had 2 PRO, one who was senior to me in terms of entry into the service, but because of interviews and together with my experience and qualification, I am today the personal and industrial relation officer. Yes. So from clerk, from range 14 to range 54. Right. Right? So once persons have the necessary aspirations, once you study and given that opportunity for interviews, yes, you are able to achieve your goals.
That's right. So once you are focused and determined, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yes, you can.
So on the topic of employees, what are some of the training programs that are available to the employees at the Polyspin Corporation?
Well, as stated, I think when I answer the second to the first question, the training, because of the lack of funding, we are unable to send our employees to a number of training. However, we have a number of persons who are qualified and we can do in-house training. For example, I have my master's in public sector management. When persons doing training is consultancy agency, and sometimes persons just only reach their degree in it and they do the training. So we could have developed simple programs, like I will often set aside a half day and even train my staff. Right. But that is something that you have to willingly want to do. So we have we have persons with engineering degree, we have persons with psychology degree, we have doctors, we have nurses, we have mechanics, we have carpenters, all the work supervisors. They would have done the civil engineering course, so they can assist. And now with the government lack of funding, you find now you more have to refer now to the in-house training. In all fairness to the government, though, and with COVID, there are a lot of virtual training given by the public administration side. However, you have to be selected. Right. So whilst I may want 10 persons, they wouldn't be able to choose 10 persons from Polyspin Corporation. Right. And if they choose, because there's a number of persons, and I guess with the computerized system is a number of persons, they mightn't be able to take 100 at the same time. Right. Right? And we have a number of ministries.
Okay. So Ms. Alam, what are some of the positives that has come out of the HR department under your watch?
Oh, I am proud to address this question. Under my watch as the Personal Industrial Relations Officer 3 at the Polyspin Corporation, I have had the most promotions, most appointments. I've created the pension and leave section. I have an individual person to deal with our municipal police. So I am cooking with fire, and I am hoping before I go on to future endeavors that I'm able to even have a grievance, a proper grievance personnel to deal with matters, so that it will be in a more flowing manner and we won't have all the numerous complaints against the personnel department.
So Ms. Alam, we want to thank you for taking the time out to answer these very important questions, which was so informative. So before we go, we would like to ask you one last question. What is your most favorite part about working at the Polyspin Corporation?
My favorite part about working in this corporation is that I started as what you will call a baby, and now I'm an adult. So I worked my way up. As a result, I may have certain vision and may be able to achieve it because I know the potential that the corporation has. Also, I am familiar with the departments, their roles and functions. I am familiar with the people. So oftentimes, persons are unable to pull wool over my eye. Also, I will also have some historical or institutional knowledge, as one may see. So that is my favorite part. I'm hoping to be at the REM and knowing the institution inside out.
And that concludes our first episode of Know Your Corporation. Thank you for joining us. Do check out our Facebook and Instagram pages, like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for our next episode where we will highlight another department.